So Scrum 1 UA. Okay. So like this, you have all your like your managers. So managers 1, dev manager, so DL dev team. So like this, okay. You can include all these people, and you can send a mail like this. At the end of the day, you have to send a mail. So it's a mandatory. Okay. So all this are very crucial. Okay. So and that's the main thing you will do in the daily. Then you will attend tomorrow's Scrum meeting. You will attend. In the Scrum meeting, you will explain. So I have tested a login module, and almost all the test cases are good, but only 2 test cases failed. One, so these 2 are the some functionality broken, so need to address. You will talk, and then you will tell tomorrow. So today I'll continue with other module testing. So like that, you have to give a status. No blockers. Environment looks good. Environment is stable. I can continue my testing. So that's how you can give a status in the stand-up meetings. Clear?
Yep, sounds good.
And concerns. So that's all about what we have till now about test cases, test case execution, and those things. So did you read yesterday about that RTM and test scenario and test case difference? Did you get a chance?
I got to go through the test case versus test case scenario, but I yet to go through the link that you sent the other day, or it's in your main website. So I have it saved. I'll definitely read it over.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. So okay. So go through them. That's important. Okay. And yeah, test case writing is so you know right now how to write the test case. That's important. And take one more complex so module here and try to write that. So that will help you. Maybe you can take a register or whatever it is. Not restricting you. So, but write the test case for forget password, for example. So try it for this. And my account page, try it for that. Right? Yeah. Okay, so now after this, we need to discuss a defect. What is meant by a defect? So a defect is an issue in the application, and the application functionality is not working as per expectation, as per customer expectation. So that is called a defect. So if you see that, we have there are different type of defects. So if defect is basically a flaw or imperfection in a software application or in a product. So when the expected result doesn't match with the application actual result, so it is termed as a defect. So the defect causes harm for the application. It can be so very dangerous or minimal or high, so different kind of severity and will be there. Because of that defect, you may lose the business, you have some side effects, and you have issues. You cannot do anything. So such kind of problems will be there. So there are different type of defects, right? So let's understand what are the different type of defects. So usability defect that results in a user dissatisfaction. So, this will not harm the user. It will just make the person dissatisfied. Like you have a alignment is not good and you don't like it. Just a dissatisfaction. That's it. That's a usability defect. So we have seen, right, all the usability test cases. Alignment, spelling mistakes, and consistency missing, tab order is not proper. All this you can treat as a usability defects, UI defects we call them. So that's a low, always you can give low priority. So it's not a severe ones, right? It's not a functionality broken. When the functionality is broken, then you can give a severity, high. If functionality is not broken, you should not give high severity. So there is a severity levels, different severity levels will be there. Blocker, critical, major, minor, high, something like that. Priority will be high, medium, low. Okay, priority will be high, medium, low will be there. Severity will be critical, blocker, major, minor, right? That kind of keywords you can find in the. So that severity drop down. So a defect that causes a slow response time when running the reports. See, what is the defect? It causes a slow response time. So when running reports. So this will not harm the user unless these reports are used inside a critical place like a hospital operations room. If you are using in the operations room these reports, then it is going to be critical. But if you are not using, not that much critical, right? So that's how you can categorize your defects. A defect that causes a raw sewage to be dumped into the ocean. So this will pollute the human health, right? That means this is a serious issue, right? That's a serious issue. So this will harm users because polluting the ocean has a direct harm on humans' health. That's why this defect is a critical issue. So another one, a regression defect that causes the desktop window to display in green. So this will not harm the user, but it might annoy the user if he doesn't love the green color, right? So that's the regression issue. How can you say it is a regression defect? A defect that was not there previously, but now introduced newly in the second testing time, second iteration time, you got the new defect. Previously, it was working in that area. Previously, there was no issue in that area, but you got a defect there, right? That is called regression defect. So how can you say regression defect? So when you test first iteration time, the application functionality was working, but after the bug fixes done by the development team, now new bug is introduced in that area. So that means previously working functionality is broken now. That is called a regression defect. Okay, clear?
Yep.
So usability defects are UI defects. Just maybe alignment is not good and consistency missing and tab order is not there. Color contrast is not good. So all this you can categorize as a UI defects. So always you have to give less severity, and priority also generally will give like a medium or low priority. Priority is not high. Why? Because that is not blocking you. That is not giving any trouble to you, right? So that's why you will give low priority, low severities for them. If something is blocking, something is critical, something is broken, then you will give severity high. If some functionality is not working, then that's something harm for the users, for anybody, then you can treat that as a high. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Now, see some more defect types. Latent defect. What is meant by latent defect? So latent defect is one which has been in the system for a long time. So, but it is discovered now. It was there in the system, in the application, long time, but nobody found that. But found now only. That is called latent defect. That means a defect which has been there for a long time, but that found now, that is detected now. It should have been detected earlier, but detected now. That is called latent defect. So what are the reasons for this latent defect? Maybe you don't have a proper test data, and the conditions are not met in your in your environment. So all these are the reasons for not able to catch the defects. Maybe you don't have proper test case. There is a gap. So you have to fill that gap, to catch those bugs. So that is there are so many reasons, right? Latent bug is an existing, uncovered, unidentified defect in the system over a period of time. The bug may have one or more versions, it was there in the software, but identified after its release only. That is called latent defect. So the problems will not cause the damage immediately, but so it will damage at a later point of time. So that's called a latent defect. So a defect is likely to be present in various versions of the software and may be detected after the release. That's a latent defect. So like, for example, I'm giving a latent defect example. So you can frame one of the defects like this, and you can give examples in your application, whatever the project you are keeping, right? Those projects, you can create such kind of defects. February has 28 days. The system could have not considered the leap year, which results in the latent defect. So leap year, right? How many days? So
29 days.
Yeah, that they're considering always 28 days only. So when the leap year comes only, you can catch that. So otherwise, if you won't consider, right, other years. So that is called a latent defect. So whenever even leap year, if you select also, it is coming 28 days only. That means that's a bug, right?
Yep.
So that is the a kind of issues, you call them latent defect. And mask defect. What is meant by mask defect? So hides the other defect. One defect hides the other defect. So basically hides the other defect which is not detected at a given point of time. It means, so there is an existing defect, that is not caused for reproducing another defect. So one defect hides another defect. So that is called mask defect. Suppose in your application, there is a link to add an employee, right? On clicking this link, you can also add a task for that employee. So let's assume both functionalities have bugs. Like, when you click on add employee, it's not working. So it's not working. And then if add employee itself not working, you cannot do the add task, right, for the employee. So add task also not working. That means main add employee is broken now. First bug. And, then you cannot test the add task is right. Add task is masked now because add employee is broken. Once the add employee is fixed, then you can click on the add employee. You click it, if it is working, then the add task you can click. Now add employee itself is broken. Then you cannot test the add task, right? So that is called mask defect. That means add employee defect masking the add task defect. Is it right or not? It is masking. Masking means hiding. So that is called mask defect. So failing to test a subsystem, so might also cause not testing the other parts of it, which might have defects, but remain unidentified as the subsystem was not tested due to its own defects. So that means, parent defect is masking the child defect inside that. So that is called mask defect. Are you clear? Mask defect and latent defect. Next, defect leakage. So what is a defect leakage? So this is the one of the famous exam interview question, this one. Defect leakage. You need to calculate the defect leakage. How can you calculate? So first, what is a defect leakage? Leak means, right, generally going away. Not, it should stay there, but it is going away. So here also, the defects which are unable to find during your system testing or UAT testing, but it occurs in the production environment. That is called a defect leakage. So these defects are missed in your system testing or user acceptance testing. Both places it is missed, but found in the production environment. So that is called a defect leakage. So how you can calculate this defect leakage? Number of defects slipped. Slipped means missed by you, a testing team, divided by number of defects received. It means total number of bugs you reported, you or your team, minus number of defects withdrawn. Withdrawn means those defects are not valid. Then we have to withdraw, right? Those multiply by 100 if you do, you'll get the defect leakage. So for example, in production, the customer raises 21 issues. That means these 21 missed, right? Because they found in the production. During your testing, you reported 267 issues. But 17 are invalid in this 267. So that means you have to reduce 267 minus 17. And number of defects are 21. So that total is like this. 21 divided by 267 minus 17 multiplied by 100. So that is 84%. So 84% is the defect leakage ratio. So invalid defects means what? Maybe you misunderstood the requirements, but you reported it. And error in the test environments. When you're testing, test environment has some issues. Then you reported them. So those are environment issues. Environmental issues, if you report also, it won't work out. So those are, they will treat them as invalid defects. So valid defect means that should be acceptable by the development team. And so they should fix that, and you have to retest that. That entire process should happen. That's a defect. life cycle also we'll discuss. So what is a defect density? So defect density is the number of defects confirmed in the software or particular module during a specific period of operation or development divided by the size of the application. So this is the one. Defect density is counted per 1,000 lines of code is called KLOC. So defect density equal to defect count divided by size of the release. Defect count divided by size of the release. So that's a defect density means. So what is a defect is? The time gap between the date of detection and the date of closure of the defect is called defect is. So what is showstopper defect? A defect that doesn't permit testing to continue further is called showstopper defect or blocker defect. So who can report the defect? Anybody. So QA engineers or testers, developers, technical support team, end users, sales or marketing engineers, anybody can report the defect. Okay. So that's the theory part. Please go through this. Okay. And so you need to explain these defects also, these definitions tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So that